Now, it should probably come as no surprise that Audi was going to release a convertible version of its R8 V10, considering that the new R8 follows very closely on the one that came before it. Now, there was a Spider version of that, there's a Spider version of this. It arrives in Australia in the middle of next year. It's going to cost nearly 390 grand. That's about 30,000 more than the coupe. It'll do 318 kilometres an hour, for goodness sake, if you could find a road to do it on. Now, whoever said the rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain didn't really know what they were talking about. We're by the seaside, it's about to bucket down. And guess what? I've got a $400,000 convertible, so I'd better get out there and have a drive.
Of course, any convertible is at its best when the sun is out and you can flip the lid back to enjoy the view. Not to mention that in this kind of car, being seen is just as important. And there's no doubt this wide and flat supercar will turn heads if the roof is on or off. It's all completely hedonistic, but don't be fooled into thinking the R8 Spider is the soft option when it comes to high performance driving.
So normally I'd be showing you how the R8 Spider's roof can go up and down in only 20 seconds at speeds of up to 50 kilometres an hour. But guess what? I'm not doing that for the money. I don't get paid enough. It's too wet out there. So what I can say is there's absolutely no shortage of performance in the R8 Spider. It'll do pretty much everything that the Coupe will do. It carries a bit more weight, but look, you're really not going to notice it.
Okay, so it's carrying an extra 125 kilograms of weight over the R8 Coupe, most of which has gone into strengthening critical areas such as the sills and A-pillars to make up for the loss of a solid roof connecting each end of the car. The folding fabric roof in its mechanicals weighs in at 44 kilograms, with the idea being that less weight higher up in the car helps with the way it handles. It's no secret the current R8 shares much of its underpinnings with the Lamborghini Huracan, which means a high-tech chassis made mainly of aluminium and carbon fibre. Then of course there's that mighty V10 mounted amidships just behind the driver and passenger seats.
So the R8 Spider's obviously at home on the open road where its performance can be put to best advantage. But funnily enough, it's also good in conditions like this, tooling around town, in the rain, stop-start traffic. It's a very civilised thing to drive. The ride quality is nothing short of sensational for a car with this type of abilities. And if you were driving to Sydney from Melbourne, you'd be just as happy as if you're driving from Melbourne to Warrnambool on the Great Ocean Road, for instance.
Sure, the engine has plenty of power and uses sheer capacity rather than turbochargers to achieve that. So it also doesn't mind a bit of a rev, producing ever-increasing amounts of horsepower and a wonderful noise as the tacho climbs past 8,000 RPM. 0 to 100 kilometres per hour in 3.6 seconds is exactly the same time as claimed for the R8 Coupe.
So we've got 5.2 litres of Lamborghini-derived V12 sitting just back there. One of the great things is, push this switch, it lowers the back window. Give it some gas, and it sounds fantastic.
Interior is a masterpiece of minimalist design, with just about every control and piece of information centred around the steering wheel and virtual cockpit projected instrument panel.
You've got plenty of stuff to play with on the steering wheel. In fact, all the controls you need are right here, including the drive select button, which gives different modes. So I'm in auto at the moment. I can dial up comfort, but why would I do that? I can go to dynamic and suddenly give you more noise. The magnetic dampers stiffen up, the steering becomes a bit heavier. I know it's not exactly a unique party trick, but that makes a lot of difference in this car.
The only gearbox available is a 7-speed dual-clutch automated manual. It's generally smooth in operation and far more convenient than an old-style manual, but occasionally it gets a bit fidgety and is too keen to drop down the gears on even light throttle openers.
But overall, it's remarkably easy to drive. This is no temperamental supercar. This can be as comfortable as you want, or it can be as fast as you want at the same time. One good thing about the Rain is that you can explore the handling, and of course it's got Quattro all-wheel drive grip. Traction is just never a problem, in the dry at least, and even in the wet. If it does break wheel spin, it can transfer power from front to rear, left to right, you name it. It just never loses its composure.
At around $400,000, the R8 Spider undercuts rivals such as the Ferrari 488 by quite a margin. It's still a lot of money, obviously, but if you like the idea of an Italian-style supercar with a more Germanic design and efficiency levels that can be open to the elements, it's also an extremely alluring concept.